Hey everybody, welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about these guys, rivnuts or rivet nuts or threaded nut inserts, whatever you want to call these. We're going to be talking about what they are, what they're used for, and how to use them for the Platform 1 roof rack. All right, I'm Jacob. Let's go and get started. All right, so jumping right in, let's talk a little bit about what these things are called. So rivnuts, threaded nut inserts, rivet nuts, they have a ton of different names. We're going to use the term rivnut, which is actually the brand name. It's kind of like Kleenex is to tissue. That's just what I always call it. So I'm gonna call it that for the rest of this video because I'm gonna accidentally call it that anyways. So now that you understand the naming conventions of it, let's talk a little bit about what it is, what it does, what it's used for, and why it pertains to the Platform 1 roof rack. All right, so jumping right in, let's talk a little bit about why you use a rivnut. A rivnut is gonna be best used to secure two pieces of metal like this, while using a bolt. Instead of, having to weld it, they could be in two different materials. None of that matters when you're using a rivnut, which is really nice. So, let me get this a little bit threaded on. So why not just use a nut and bolt? Well, let's pretend this is your roof. You can't really very easily get access to underneath the inside of the roof or at the outside of the inside of the roof. So a rivnut is really gonna come in handy because you actually don't need access to the back side of this thing. So we're gonna get this thing off real quick. Let's talk a little bit about how a rivnut actually works. So a rivnut and a rivnut tool work in a very unique way. It is similar to how a rivet works. However, what it actually is doing is you thread this on the tool itself and you're clamping it in and you're pulling the entire thing down. So what you're doing is you're basically crimping it on top of itself to shorten and compress it down. And that's gonna create kind of like a cinch, a hold like this down on the metal. It's great for things like this because you have a ton of force laterally up and down, which is all you need for the roof rack. So that's what a rivnut is. It's often used for things like roof racks or fenders or things like that, but it is a great tool and a great thing to do when you don't have access to the back side of the piece of metal. So that's what a rivnut is, that's what it does. Let's talk a little bit about how to use it, starting with everything you need to use it. First off, the most important thing, other than obviously the roof or wherever you're actually rivnutting is gonna be the rivnut tool itself. There are a couple of things you can do to hack it using some bolts and everything and some nuts and stack it. And I don't recommend doing that specifically for our roof rack. Use the proper tools. It's just gonna make a better and safer connection. So stick with an actual rivnut tool. So that's the first thing you need. The next thing is gonna be a punch. You can use either the spring-loaded one or this old school hammer one, however you wanna use. That's gonna be really, really nice. We'll talk a little bit about it while we're actually doing the installation, but that is something that is gonna be super handy, is a punch. All right, obviously you're gonna need rivnuts, which is important. And then you're gonna need drill bits. So for our roof rack installation, you're gonna be using a provided Q bit. So a Q bit is a very special size that's dedicated to this rivnut. It's a very strange size. I don't remember the exact dimensions of it, but it's right in between two different sizes. So the Q bit is the one you need. What I would also recommend is a smaller bit to start the hole. So once you get the punch in, you're gonna use a smaller bit to go ahead and get the hole started. This is a 1/4 inch size, but you can use pretty much any smaller size. You can even slowly work up to a Q size if you'd like, but we're just gonna be doing 2 for this video. And then the other thing that's a nice to have is a drill stop. So this actually is gonna stop. This is, you put this, it's a little collar you put over the drill bit itself. These are pretty universal. You can buy a couple kits wherever, and all that's gonna do is stop the drill from going too deep into whatever you're drilling. You can either use an actual drill stop or you can use some painter's tape and make a little flag around it and just know when to stop the second you hit the flag. That's the way I normally do, but you're more than welcome to do any other way. Just a drill stop of some sort is gonna be important. The last thing you're gonna need is a drill of some sort. This is the only power tool we recommend using throughout the entire process. Please don't use any other power tools, especially when you're actually using any of the hardware. Stay away from power tools for the rest of this. I wouldn't use it if this thing spins. It's a huge nightmare, which we'll talk about in the next section. All right, So now that you know everything you need to use in order to get this thing installed, let's talk about actually installing it and making some holes. So step number one to getting the whole process started is we're gonna go ahead and mark where the hole needs to be. We're talking a lot about the platform one roof rack. However, this is pretty universal to any time you need to riv nut something. We're with the roof rack in general, or in particular, when you're installing one of these, you're gonna be installing it in like the rain gutter channel. So it is a skinny little piece of strip. You need to make sure, the most important thing I think when installing one of these for a roof rack is make sure you are centered as much as possible. So it's kind of hard to tell, but the actual rivnut tool, this head right here is a bit larger than you think it is. So you need to make sure it's centered. If it's not centered, if you're offset a little bit, there's a good chance this isn't gonna fit great. And if it doesn't fit great, it means you're probably not gonna be able to get a perfect 90-degree insertion, which is gonna help you out the best and obviously is gonna do you better once it comes to actual installation. So the first thing you wanna do is make sure you are centered as much as possible in the channel. The next thing you're gonna go ahead and do is you're gonna grab a punch, whether it's a spring-loaded like this or the other one I was talking about with a hammer, you're gonna go ahead and mark the hole. So we're gonna mark one on here. Obviously, this is a pretty big one, so I don't have to be too precise, but we're gonna go ahead and punch it a little bit right there, just because, right there, perfect. So you're gonna take your punch, it's a spring-loaded, go ahead and do it a couple times. Cool, you'll get a little indentation there. From here is where we're gonna go ahead and move to start drilling. All right, so before we actually get into drilling it, let's talk a little bit about the drill bits. So again, like I mentioned in the things needed, you're gonna wanna start with a smaller than the Q bit. I would start a little bit bigger than like a 1/8. Quarter inch is where I like to land for these kind of holes. Go ahead and start with this. You're gonna make the hole first. Once you make that hole, go ahead and clean it up a little bit, pull it out, throw on the Q bit, and from here, this is where you're gonna start actually drilling your hole and make the full size hole. What we were trying to do next is go over some worst practices, figuring out some of the don'ts to do. While doing so, we figured out, we're playing more with the rivnut gun or the rivnut machine and trying to figure out some more ways you can actually mess this up so we can talk a little bit about it. So one of the things we really were wondering is, what if you don't get a good crimp connection, and how could you get a not good crimp connection? So we started playing with our actual rivnut machine, and you can actually choke up on this thing and change the choke point on this and change how much thread is actually showing. The reason you would actually do this is for different size rivnuts. So this is a pretty decent size rivnut. So with this one, what we're gonna recommend is on the mandrel is have as much thread as possible showing while it's fully extended. So on our system, you can kind of see as you choke up on this and spin this around, it will actually change how much thread is showing. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is make sure that this is all the way choked down so we have as much thread as possible showing. We found after a couple tests doing it on this sheet metal, that gave us the best crimp connection, is just to have as much thread showing as possible. Sorry, there's a dog doing some laps. So that's what we recommend doing. Make sure you have as much thread, play around with it, just do whatever setting has the most thread, just because this is a longer riv nut. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna actually do the riv nutting. So what we're gonna do is, as you can see, this thing, as you move it back and forth, it expands and contracts. So we want it fully extended. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, open up the pinchers all the way, take your riv nut, and we're gonna start threading it on. So you can thread it on like this, and then, and you want that thing butted up right up against that, and as you can tell, it's a little tight, which is what we want. All right, so once we're at this step, next step is gonna be actually getting it into the thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna insert it into the hole. Once it's inserted into the hole, then we're gonna go ahead and crank this thing up. Just note, depending on how thick the sheet metal is, this might take a little bit of force, so you're gonna look a little silly, but it's sometimes also helpful. We had to do this when we were doing the Raptor to get two people involved and get some real, just one person pushes, one other person pushes, and push into each other. It does take a little bit of force to do it. You are moving metal, so keep that in mind. The other thing to note, we want to make sure you're at a perfect 90 degrees. If you get this thing lopsided at all, it's going to make inserting the bolt a little bit difficult because it won't be perfect. So make sure you're staying as over it and as 90 degrees as possible. It's going to create the best connection to the metal, and make sure your nuts or your bolts are actually straight in. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing installed. First off, you're gonna get into the hole, you're gonna push it down so it's nice and tight. So Jada was actually just giving me a little tip here. He likes doing it in 2 stages. So he's gonna do the first squeeze, and then once he gets it to a good halfway point, then he can really throw his whole shoulders into it. Like we were talking about, this is not the easiest thing. This metal, unfortunately, is actually pretty thin, so it's not too bad, but on the roof of your vehicle, especially Ford vehicles for whatever reason, whatever the heck they're made with, you gotta put some ugga-dugga, some strength into it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one inserted and make sure that we are going over it straight on 90 degrees. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do this part, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about what you would do if your hole, the actual end piece, doesn't fit into the channel. We'll throw some tips and tricks in there too. So let's get this one done first so you can kind of see how it goes. So we're gonna, again, get it to a good, make sure it's flush, get it nice here, and then from here, go ahead and get this thing all the way in. Once it's pressed in all the way, obviously we can see underneath it, but if you're on the roof, you can't. Go ahead and just loosen it up and start unscrewing it from this piece back here. Go nice and slow. You're not in a hurry. You're not doing there's no reason to go fast. Just get it going nice and slow. Don't pull too fast. Don't go too tight. Just like this, and it's gonna pop right out. Any day now. There you go. All right, so now you have a successful Rivnut. What you can go ahead and do is you can get it all installed, throw your spacers, everything that needs to go in there, and boom. There you go. It's that's how you would do it, so you're good to go there. Again, going back to the no power tools rule, use a drill. Okay, do not use an electric ratchet, don't use an impact, nothing like that on anything that you actually thread into this thing, as you don't want this thing to spin. If that Rivnut does start to spin, the options are gonna be kind of tricky. Actually, removing Rivnuts is quite the process, so you want to make sure it doesn't spin. If it does start to spin, you can try saving it by just redoing it. You might be able to recrimp it, but if it starts spinning, that is a problem. You want to make sure you avoid it by not using any power tools, and don't ugga-dugga it too tight. All right, so let's briefly talk about what happens if this this nub end piece doesn't actually fit into the channel. So what we had to do when this happened, because we didn't drill the holes, perfectly centered like I said to, what you're gonna do is, let's pretend this one's, we're starting over, right? So what we're gonna do is, so you can actually get it, see how it has kind of a weird gap to it? You're gonna just get a little bit of it threaded on, just because that's as far as we can really go. Then you're gonna go ahead and crimp it, and then once you crimp it, go down a little bit more, go ahead and crimp it, and you're gonna continue this process so you can get a little bit at a time crimped up and up and up. This is a nice tip if your applicator or your tool is a little too big on this end to actually fit in the channel cleanly. So this is what we had to do. I've had to do it on other installs as well, when you just can't, this is a pretty big piece. If you can't fit it, that's an idea. So all you do is you basically put as much as you can on there, get as much as you can, go, and then go ahead and tighten it up a little bit, and that'll give you a little bit more space. Do the same thing, and you're gonna keep doing it like a caterpillar, just moving all the way in, and once you do that, you should be good to go. Just be a little bit more careful with that connection, as that one's probably not gonna be as strong as a normal one that you do like this. All right, and that's everything you need to know on how to install a Rivnut. If you have any other questions regarding Rivnuts or the Platform 1, go ahead and leave a comment down below. That's a wrap. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.